cinematic, it has to look like Gary Vee approved. Christopher Nolan approved.
Fear is a powerful force. It can stop us in our tracks, make us doubt ourselves, and keep us stuck in patterns that don't serve us. But there's something even more powerful than fear: the decision to start over. I've spent the last few years on a journey of self-discovery, learning who I am and what I want out of life. And along the way, I've faced my fair share of fears. Fear of failure, of rejection, of not being good enough. But every time I've pushed through that fear, I've come out stronger on the other side. It hasn't always been easy. There have been moments where I've wanted to give up, to retreat back into my old habits, and I have, and my ways of thinking. But I've learned that true growth and transformation come from embracing the unknown and taking risks and stepping outside of my own comfort zone. And you know what? It's worth it. It's worth the discomfort, the uncertainty, the moments of doubt. Because on the other side of that fear, there is something incredible, a new beginning. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're afraid to take that first step, know that you're not alone. But also know that you have the power to choose something different. You have the power to start over, to forge a new path, to create a life that truly inspires you. You are the blueprint. And it's not always easy. It's not easy at all, but it's always worth it. So take that first step and see where it leads you. Who knows what incredible things you might discover about yourself along the way.
I'm reading this book again, and I read it many years ago when I was in acting school. It's one of the first books I read for acting school, but as I'm rereading it, I feel like I'm understanding it so different, and I feel like this one page can be so helpful to anyone who needs to hear it. So I'm going to read it. The theater exists on words. It exists on the literary qualities of language. I want you to think about the way you speak. I'm not asking you to take care with other people's words, but to care about your own words. What this means is that you have to edit yourself. You have to be disciplined. We have to learn to speak precisely. I want you to be articulate about your thoughts. We have to learn the correct way to eat. Eating is a tremendously good thing to correct. Americans are obsessed about eating. On the New York Times bestseller list, 10 out of 12 books are on diet. None is about literature. Nowadays, people drink too much. It mistreats the body. The actor can't do that. He has to correct himself. The business of editing yourself is a life task. It's not about auditions or being in rehearsal. I, for instance, am very strict about what I eat, and I'm equally strict about what I read. You couldn't make me even pick up a book if I didn't want to read, any more than I drink a bottle of vodka for breakfast because somebody put it out on the table. How many people read without aim? How many people read simply for amusement? You're too old for that. Reading is not for play. It is to gain knowledge. You don't ride a tricycle anymore, do you? It's time for Dante, not Mother Goose. My late husband, Mitchell Wilson, was a scientist. He and Enrico Fermi worked together on the development of an atomic bomb. My husband used to say that in our time, 10 years had been added to life, but not at the end. We didn't add the 10 years to maturity, we added them to adolescence. We're still kids when we're 28. I'm not telling you to give up innocence. We're here to train your innocence, to preserve it, to polish it. But do not confuse innocence with adolescence. I want you to be innocence, wise, and 95. There is one rule to be learned. Life is not you. Life is outside of you. If it is outside, you must go toward it. You must go toward a person. And if he or she backs off, it's their fault. The essential thing to know is that life is in front of you. Go toward it. You may have been corrupted into thinking that you are important. If you are a lost creature waiting for the world to come to you, an actress's whole life can be ruined if she expects life to come to her, actor as well. Tell yourself that the world is outside, that it's not to be hidden from you, that you are going to thrust yourself forward and be relaxed into the world. You have been chosen. You have chosen a field where you're going to be hurt to the blood, but to retreat from the pain is death. That was so good. I feel like that changed my entire day.